That's the thing about an interview, though. You know, you can be overdressed for an interview, but it's not a bad thing to be overdressed. Like, if you turn up in a shirt and tie and suit or whatever, and the interviewer is a bit more smart casual, it's never going to reflect badly on you that you're overdressed. But if you turn up underdressed, you turn up in jeans and a ripped t-shirt, and the guy's got a suit on, it's going to look bad. Yeah, Bullets Code, that's pretty much what I used to do, was I always said, what is the dress code for the interview? That's the safest thing you can do, is just say, what is the dress code? Because you kind of want to be dressed in a similar level to the interviewer, really. If you're going for a company that is smart casual dress at the interview, go smart casual. But don't go there in a suit if they're smart casual and you know it. But equally, don't go in jeans. I mean, just going in jeans would be a bad idea, really. You're still better off being smart casual, in my opinion, as a minimum. When you say smart casual, is that what we call business casual in the US? Probably, I guess. Like, smart would be suited, shirt and tie. Smart casual, for example, might mean trousers and shoes, and then maybe like not a formal shirt, but a shirt with a collar but no tie. That would be like a smart casual. You know what I mean? Or you might have like a jacket over the top, but no tie. Or if you took your tie off, a suit is then kind of smart casual, or business casual as you would call it. You hate suits, jeans for the win. Well, it depends whether you're talking about interview or working environment. It's all contextual. You know, if you work as a mechanic, you can't expect to wear a suit to your interview, really, because you're never going to wear a suit in the job. Well, Bullets Co, I found that if you work in the city, then you tend to get more suits in the city, even the IT environment. Well, Hannah, that's up to somebody to sort of point the dress code out, isn't it? Lol, suck you. Now, what she means, Alex, is somebody with a Mohican. That's what she means. And then a wild puppy appeared. What do you mean, sick dog? Your general rule of thumb for interviews is if you show up in something you could not do the job in, you're not properly dressed. Show up in something you could not do the job in. I'm not really sure about that. That implies if you go for an interview as a builder, you need to wear a hard hat. You wouldn't wear a hard hat at an interview, really, would you? What are you doing? That smells like garlic bread. Hey? I can definitely smell the garlic.
Around the roundabout.
It's gonna stink my room out there. Jobs are now fully remote, so it's the UK fighting for the same jobs, but let's go. Yeah, I agree. It's not the easiest time right now. Interview as a swimmer? What do you mean? You don't go for a job as a swimmer, sure. Yes, we're hiring a swimmer today. Well, how much are you paying? We're paying 50 pence per length. Okay. Who hires a swimmer? I reckon, Hannah, that'd be really fun, though. Turning up for a mechanic job in stilettos. That'd be brilliant. Wouldn't do it myself, but, you know. Yeah, but they're hiring a lifeguard then, bro. Not hiring a swimmer. Yeah, Bullets go, we all know that's nonsense excuse though, right? When they reject people for not enough experience who have like 30 years in IT, it means there's another reason. Good.
Keep left.
Well, Alex, whoever interviewed those people shouldn't be interviewing people. Unless that guy flat out lied on his interview, in which case they should have checked his skill set anyway. But they're clearly not cut out for interviewing. A lot of people are not. That's a really weird way of doing it, Von Hogan.
Keep right. Then take the exit right. Take the exit right. Go around the roundabout. Third exit. Take the exit. Go around the roundabout. First exit. Take the exit. Go around the roundabout. Second exit.
I guess, Von Hogan, but that first hour just defines your entire salary. That's a bit of a... You know, we could have averaged it over the course of the day or something. Just like that 1 hour to measure your salary.
Go straight on.
I get what he was trying to do, but just that 1 hour window is a bit of a small sample, if you see what I mean.
Right turn ahead. Turn right. Right turn ahead. Turn right. You have reached your destination.
The lights in here are just so much better now, isn't it? Like, really significantly better. What, you got $18 an hour after that? And what was everybody else getting? Highest paid next to you was 12. I mean, the only downside is it's... there's a physical limit to how many you can do in an hour. So therefore, the amount that that guy's going to pay you, like Ferret says, could mean that you're being underpaid, really. Riding the ramp slightly. That'll do. That is an absurd place to park that trailer. A normal box trailer, fine, but that trailer? Flippin' heck. How do you get your first job out of school when everyone wants experience? Apprenticeships. Listen. My friend worked at a company down in Wickford, which is not far away from me. And there was a Chinese guy. He was in his 20s, I think. And he was out of university and he had exactly that problem, right? He had no experience. All he had was, I've been through university, but I don't have any experience, and he couldn't get anybody to take him on. So he couldn't get the experience. So what did he do? He applied to work at the company and said, I will work for nothing. I will work for zero money. So he started working, basically got his head down, got on with the job, computer programming stuff, doing it in Delphi. And after 3 months, the company felt guilty not paying him, so they just started paying him. After 6 months, they put him on a full salary. He worked there for about 3 years, and then he left. That's how you break a chicken and egg situation. You say to yourself, would I rather be sat at home complaining about the fact that I'm applying for 50 jobs and I can't get an interview, or just go and work somewhere for nothing, get the experience, and then I can move on with my life? Yeah, exactly, an impromptu intern. You got to do what you got to do sometimes. But yeah, it's classic chicken and egg. Experience and knowledge. You have one, you can't prove the other. Exactly, Hannah. You got to build that CV up. Need to do 3 more. You worked for free for weeks straight from your college, HTV garage. Following month they gave you a job, lasted 7 years before they stopped making Bedford trucks. There you go. Same thing. I don't know, Flamingo. Do you ever go back to a coding job? If I have to. I've always said to you guys, you know, what I do now, I can't guarantee my income like I could with a job. Like, this is not a guaranteed salary doing what I do. If it ever gets to the point where I can't make ends meet, I'll go back to doing what I used to do, right? Like, you can't go into it thinking it's always going to work. Life isn't like that. And it works if you can keep a roof over your head and food in your belly while working for free. Well, the intern thing. Yeah, absolutely. It always depends on your circumstances, right? You can't work for free if you've got bills to pay. But if you're 20-something out of university and you've gone back home, your parents are paying all the bills, right? You can do that. Network engineer, mid-50s, ageism alive and well in the US. We're about to find work over a year. Decided to become a consultant.
Go straight on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, no, it is. They don't want to employ you at that age because they're thinking, oh, well, you won't stay for very long. They seem to ignore the fact that young people move around after a few years anyway. You're more likely to stay, though, in your 50s. You're more likely to just stay there for the next 10 years. But yeah, it's a weird way of doing it. But like you say, when you become a consultant, now you're an experienced consultant. You're worth the money. So they pay you twice the cost.
Take the exit.
Carrot, there's plenty of consultants don't know anything. I mean, I've literally been, you know, I've recruited a lot of people and I've literally been sat looking at CVs sent to me from agencies saying senior Java developer. And they're literally 23 years old. How can you be a senior Java developer at 23? You left university at 21 and you're a senior Java developer 2 years later. No, you're not. You are not a senior Java developer. You do not have the experience. You've probably never sat through and developed a major system in your life. You're not a senior Java developer. You just put that because you think it'll get you more money. Or you have an inflated sense of ego. Or you're just blind to yourself, but you're not a senior Java developer. And as for consultants, you know, there was a point in the run-up to 2000, there was like everybody was a consultant. Everybody was a consultant that was going to come in and deal with your millennial bugs. Well, Bulletsco, there is no hard and fast rule when you can claim to be senior. But certainly you need to have a very accomplished CV to be a consultant, And, you know, you need to have something pretty decent to be senior. You can't bounce out of uni, just go and work as a coder for 2 years and call yourself a senior developer. It doesn't work like that. Coding in your bedroom, Ferret, as I'm sure you're aware, is not the same as coding, you know, coding business systems, as it were, which is what I used to do. Like, you can do what you like in your bedroom, but you write a business system, it's got to work.
Then take the exit right. Take the exit right.
The thing is about a consultant, what really makes a consultant
Go around
is
the roundabout. Third exit.
not only do they know the profession, right? So they've spent years learning and seeing lots of things in their industry.
Take the exit.
They have an accomplished CV, but what really makes a consultant is they're also a people person that can translate a complicated field that they work in and talk to, like, business people who don't understand that stuff. They bridge the gap. They can talk to people that are a people person and they understand the technology or the engineering or whatever it is that they are specialized in. That's what makes a consultant. And if you've ever worked in IT, you'll know that there's an awfully large chunk of people who are just not very good with people. They love working with computers, but they're not great people. So they're not very good consultants for that reason.
Go around the roundabout. First exit.
You would suck as a consultant. A lot of people would.
Keep right. Then turn right. Left turn ahead.
An awful lot of people in IT work there and stay in the back room because they don't want to talk to people.
Turn left.
They don't want to sit around a table and, you know,
You have reached your destination.
they just want to sit at their computer. That's what they want to do. Do you ever have any employees work for you? Yeah. Oh, you mean what I'm doing now, or I used to do? Well, there's nothing wrong with it, legit, Rob, yeah? There's nothing wrong with it at all, but you've got to understand what you're good at and what you're not good at. What the heck? Am I slightly off? No, they count as liabilities, Hannah. Not employees, the liabilities. Expenses. Porto. There's a question mark. Let's look at truck dealer here, look. Why is that, Carlin? Why do you get more now?
Turn right. Left turn ahead.
Dealers are discoverable, and the recruitment
Turn
agencies are
left.
discoverable, Tommy, and so are the Vista points. They're all discoverable items.
Go
People are
around
complaining
the
about the
roundabout.
lack of
Second
secondary roads,
exit.
Minico. Is that what people are saying? The thing is, Minico, right? If SCS gave you a load of secondary roads as well, they'd just find something else to complain about.
Take the exit.
Why not fuel stations and shops? Tommy, mate, would you really want fuel stations to be discoverable? When you're getting desperately low on diesel, you've got to drive around to find a fuel station. Minico, you're not going to get much better value for money than this. This is a huge map for not a lot of money. If they're complaining about lack of secondary roads, then whatever. You don't get the points of discoverables. Well, they just they encourage you to explore. What the heck is going on? The real point of them is just to encourage you to drive around the map and explore things. What was that random brake test? Oh, I see. He's just randomly road sweeping in the middle of the day, like you do. Mr. Fleming, thank you for 76
Go
months.
round the roundabout. First exit. Take the exit.
Oh, he's back. Why was you banned for an hour? Because you were being a bit of a nuisance, mate. You need to read the chat rules, chill out, and enjoy the stream. SCS and add motorbikes in IR traffic. Yeah, I've said that for years, mate. They need to make them so they lean over. Globetrotter, thank you 41.
Keep right. Then take the exit right.
The default sounds are so bad. And yet Renault signed off on them.
The exit right.
Apology accepted, dude. Would I work at SCS? Probably not. Any big gaming company you would work for?
Keep right.
I would have loved to have worked at DICE before EA bought it. That seemed like a great place to work. That kind of
Take the exit
independent
right.
company doing really cool things. Foo, thank you for 20 months. Exactly, Uek. Well, it used to be. I don't know if it still is. All the meetings were held in native language. loans in the game a good idea. Started to get drivers of vehicles. Troy, I did a YouTube series called Trucking Diaries, where I started off at level 1 and showed you the decisions I made and why. You need loans, but you got to be careful when you take them and how much you take on. There's certain skills that you need to pick, Troy, to make your leveling easier, and I cover that in the videos. Because some of the skills that you pick earlier on are a complete waste of time, and some of them are really critical to get you more money. Portugal. Type of developments, business systems. Like basically custom built business systems for big businesses is what I did. Mostly intranet stuff, like internal systems. Java was one of the languages, yeah. Yep, it is my OG account. Well, believe it or not, Alex, when Sun owned Java, when Java came out, it wasn't a bad language, mate. Later on, that wasn't the case. Sadly, that's true of a lot of things. They come out, they're really good, they become bloatware and a bit of a mess, and then, yeah, everybody hates it. Like a lot of JavaScript libraries you've used, Alex. When they come out, they're nice and focused. WFL Gaming, thank you for 41 months. Java's fine if you're doing middleware, which is a lot of my stuff was to do with the middle. I was good at database design and then writing middleware stuff. Service-based calls is what I was good at. Basically writing scalable back-end systems is what I was good at. I had to dip into the front end occasionally, but I didn't really want to do it. But for that kind of scenario, Java's pretty good. Or it used to be. Well, when Oracle bought Java, I was like, I'm done. Well, Yeah. I mean, Microsoft wanted Delphi. They said the only thing that's wrong with Delphi is that Microsoft doesn't own it. So instead they started to make their own version of it in the form of Visual Basic, whose problem was it was underpinned by the basic language, which is awful. So the next thing they started to do was create their own language, which looked like a lot like the upcoming Java language, and called it C#. No, Delphi the language, which is based on Borland's Turbo Pascal. Delphi was like the first RAD tool, Rapid Application Development Tool, and it was so good when it came out. Delphi 1 was completely groundbreaking. In terms of the speed that you could build applications for the desktop was scary. Delphi 2 was a fantastic product. But underneath it had Pascal, and a lot of people didn't get on with Pascal. I did. So you were then, either you were a Delphi guy or you were a Visual Basic guy when it came to application development. Like in the 90s, they were the two big players. But then things started to move away from the desktop because the internet was starting to get popular. So then everybody had to start developing web-based systems instead of desktop-based systems. Oh god, Fortran. Oof.
Keep right, then take the exit right.
Yeah, but the underlying language,
Exit right.
Clopepper, the underlying language was very good. And you only have to program in Delphi to realize how good it was. The biggest problem we're developing for a web browser floating Fatman is the lack of internet standards. Or rather, the way that browsers badly implement internet standards or completely ignore them is what makes developers' life hell. Is it easier to learn other coding languages if you already know one? Generally speaking, yes. The language is... how can I explain this? The language is only a part of programming. Like, understanding how to program is more important than the language that you learn. Understanding the approach, the methodology, how to break a problem down, and then build the code up. It doesn't... the actual language at the end is less important than being able to be a good software engineer. That's more important. But once you know one language, you start to see the patterns, and then you can apply it to other languages. I mean, every language has its own weird idioms, but generally speaking, you can be a good coder in one and then learn a different language and take all your knowledge over, if you see what I mean. Unless you're trying to learn C++. Well, I mean, I like the C language with some C++ bits bolted on. But C++ itself is, can get very crazy. The problem is they started to bolt on things to C++ that weren't meant to be there. Like templates, for example. They made the syntax of C++ very awkward, but were kind of necessary to get around some of the things it couldn't do. And then along came interface-based programming, which Java adopted very, very well. And then C++ adopted it, but you know, one of the differences between Java and C++ is Java, you can't... It's like a single object inheritance graph, whereas C++, you can inherit from more than one place, whereas in Java you can't. You can inherit from one object and implement many interfaces, but in C++ you can inherit things from two different objects and end up with very different kind of mess if you're not careful. Jeez, man, what's going on? I quite like interface-based development. I like that. What they call contractual coding. And Microsoft went down that road as well. But they honestly, what they did with it was scary. They had interfaces and then versions of interfaces. Oh yeah, Alex, they did. They had... I'm trying to think back now. They had... they would have, for example, say you had an interface for called, I don't know, iDog is what they call it, and it had like bark methods on it. And then and then a whole lot of code was written to implement the iBark interface. Sorry, the iDog interface. And then they'd say, oh yeah, but dogs can also walk. Aha. So what we need then, we need an iDog 2, which can bark and walk. And they just ended up with like this insane amount of versioned interfaces. And the problem is, it was caked into the Windows OS. So when you had to write code, you had to discover, you literally had to trawl the registry to discover what interfaces were available based on what updates people had to Windows. And the whole thing, it just became utter chaos. And that's what desktop development was like in the late 90s on Windows. It was just horrendous. Well, you can't edit the original interface. You can't. That's the point. An interface is immutable. You can't compile code to an interface and then somebody later on changes the interface. That's not contractual programming. Because if you change the interface, you break any code that implements that interface. Yeah, COM. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Clo Pepper. I'm talking about COM. Just have a look at COM-based programming, which is what Windows was adopting in the 90s. It's awful. With COM, you start off with the iObject interface, and then you had to discover what other interfaces that COM object implemented. It was nasty. You're running out of fuel. Uh-oh. A Renault running out of fuel? Never happens. Oh, we're nearly there anyway. There's actually a fuel station to the left, but we're almost there. What you've got to remember, Poppycat, is that COM was a runtime interface, not a compile time interface. So if you defined an interface, any other system, any other application on Windows could implement it. You can't change it. Once it's compiled, it's done. You can't change the interface anymore, because if you do, you'll literally break code, runtime code. I'm a Scooby-Doo on the run. Yeah, I should probably not talk about that stuff. via longa. Talk about another language. Well, I like strong type languages over weak type languages, if you understand what that means.
Keep right. Then take the exit right. Take the exit right. Go around the roundabout. Third exit.
What is this truck doing?
Keep right.
You was a COBOL 2 and RPG programmer. I don't know what RPG 3 is. You mean
Go
COBOL
around
or
the
COBAL?
roundabout. First exit.
Just to be clear.
Take the exit.
Would you advise new developers, students, developers focus on web development or desktop or mobile? Okay, so what you're going to see, Nerdy Drew, in the next 10 years, you're going to see a huge movement to ARM-based processors, right? That's one thing. And a lot of the reasons for that are to do with the fact that we can't keep boosting things with gigahertz anymore. We have to do, and also power saving.
Right turn.
And a lot of that's driven by the mobile space, so you need to focus on stuff that's
Haven't
gonna...
donated in a while. Here's a little something for
Turn
your
right.
hard work.
Then
I
turn
always
left.
have a SquirrelPlus stream up on my second monitor whenever I'm trucking or playing Cities
Turn
Skylines.
Well, thank you very much, King
You
Gorson.
have
Appreciate
reached
that.
your
Thank you.
destination.
If I was, you know, if you're going to go into IT, I'd focus on anything to do with the mobile space or the ARM space. Those two things will keep you in clover. As for web development, I don't really know where that's all going to go, to be honest. What if I turn around? Got an idea. It depends what level you want to work at, whether you like a lower level coder or a high level coder. Do you know what I mean by that? How close you are to the hardware, as opposed to how abstracted away you are. Port program generator version COBOL 3. Oh yeah, so it was COBOL. Port program generator. Oof. I'm not entirely sure why they want a boat delivered here, but hey. You know, they want a boat delivered to the distribution center, they can have a boat. It's not the manager's boat. $24 grand. What is that? 18 of 20? Oh yeah. We're getting there. Speaking of getting there, I need some fuel. Not many places to buy fuel around here. Like, none. AN4211. There he goes, dropping 5 subs. Thank you very much, AN. If you just got a sub, please give him a thank you. Get some squirrel gift in chat for him, please. Thank you, sir. Why can't I click on anything here? This is weird. I might go over to Pont de Sol. Get a job from here. Don't want to get one from Lisbon. Actually, what did it class that as? Yeah, it classed that as Lisbon. Hey, Lone Wolf. Alright, so we can go from here. That's a possible. Wooden beams. Why does that trailer look like it's made out of balsa wood? that's hilarious. Wood shavings. Jeez, that's a drive. Look at that. I mean, really? Wouldn't you just punt that on a boat? Why would you drive that? I just take that down to Lisbon, chuck it on a boat, bring it round here, and drop it off there, and drive it in. I wouldn't do that. That's nuts. I ain't got time for it, Navarine. Ain't got time for that. We'll take that lumber to Salamanca. To Scaramanca. Nah, I ain't got time for that journey. Besides, it wouldn't count towards my. Well, I think I'd get 1 point towards my World of Trucks thing. Wait, is the job coming from here?
Go around the roundabout. 4th exit.
Wait, where's the job? It wants me to go to the roundabout, turn around, and come back in the yard. I need to get some fuel. Wasn't Scaramanga the guy who had 3 nipples in the Bond films? I'm sure he was. And so, if I remember, it was Roger Moore was Bond, and he put like a fake 3rd nipple on his chest to be Scaramanga. Was that Scaramanga, or was that a different one? I think it was Scaramanga.
You have reached your destination.
Yeah, the man with the golden gun, that was it. That was the one, didn't it have Odd Job as well? Odd Job was the Chinese guy with the hat that was made out of metal, and he could throw it at people as a weapon. It was on last night. Oh, that was Goldfinger, yeah, not the man with the golden gun. Goldfinger, I like Goldfinger. It's a good film. Right, we'll get some fuel from here. And if we don't, well, I won't be going very far. Yeah, that guy, the small guy from Mystery Island, he killed himself. That guy. Apparently he suffered most of his life with like mental illness. And I think he ended up killing himself.
First exit.
Poor guy. around the roundabout. I just feel like it's going to tip over. Flipping heck. Jeez, man. I couldn't turn anymore. It would have tipped. What the heck? Yikes. Have a good one, Mickey. Enjoy chicken curry. Add some more spice.
Left turn ahead.
There's a Magnum.
Turn left.
Uh, 14th of May, I think, Crowdaddy. You've got plenty of time. Why is the most popular thing on the Steam Workshop an ambulance trailer? I've no idea. I've no... because people. Wait, Cradder, you don't get your goodies until the 14th of May? I thought normally you get it straight away, don't you? The heck? That sucks. Log into World of Trucks and claim them, says Fremy. There you go. Maybe that's the bit you're missing, Crowd, Eddie. You need to log on to World of Trucks and claim your prizes.